Hey, let's go into my final pick, which another one kind of off brand here. This one is actually straight up off brand. It's a favorite, and it's against the Arizona Cardinals, and it's the Cleveland Browns. And I'm going with the Cleveland Browns.
Wow.
You called
This
it Armageddon in our little Slack.
the end of the world as we know it. I mean, this is shocking. I was all right. I said to myself going through before we were picking our teams, is Raybon going to pick Arizona here? All right, they're a home dog. It's against the Browns. I was like, there's a really good shot here. We're going to get Arizona play. And then, boom, Cleveland. So this might actually be, we might not get to 2020. This might signify the end of the world. Explain yourself. I can't believe you're going Cleveland here. This is the definition of off-brand.
Yeah, it's off brand. And, it's funny because we do these podcasts just like the Fantasy Flex, which comes out on Wednesday. We record on Tuesday. It's kind of a lot of times you guys out there listening get to kind of hear our introduction to the week, like and us really doing our deep dives as we're kind of talking through some of these things. So there was a lull between when we did our picks and like my final pick, which was the Cleveland Browns. There was a good amount of time as I was kind of digging into some things because, getting started on the research for the week. And I just, Arizona, they're in like a purgatory is the best way I can explain it, where their best players are not actually good. They're, like Patrick Peterson has not been good this year. He's been one of PFF's lowest rated corners. He's given up a ton of production. They're not even using him in shadow coverage. David Johnson has been a complete bust at running back. So now they have this pseudo three-headed backfield that they tried last game, where really it was just Chase Edmonds, doing a fake punt, and it was David Johnson catching a touchdown, and it seemed like more of a committee than it really was. But the Cardinals, they beat the Bengals, who are 1-12, by 3 points. They beat the Giants, who are 2-11, by 6 points, and then they beat the who was it? The Falcons amid Dan Quinn. Oh my God, he's getting fired. The season's over. Like right in the middle of their tailspin, they beat the Falcons by 1 point, and they tie the Lions, who are 3-9-1. So if the schedule breaks differently, if it's not a year where they play those four teams, they could conceivably be 0-13 right now, and I wouldn't be surprised at all. Sometimes when you watch them, like you see their final scores and you say, okay, maybe it's a good idea, and they have been decent against the spread this year. I believe they're 7-5-1, but as a short favorite for Cleveland, this is a spot where I think you want to bet against Arizona, because I just don't think they're capable of beating average or better teams. And I think Cleveland, while certainly has had its struggles this year, even some of their losses from earlier in the year don't look quite as bad right now. Like their loss to Tennessee doesn't look quite as bad considering how well Tennessee's been playing. Denver, a tough team to beat. San Francisco's been, that's not the only team that they've rolled 31-3 like that. So Cleveland, I think they're a solid team, average, maybe a little above average in terms of talent, but the coaching can bring them down at times. But I think they have enough on offense against a bad Arizona defense, especially pass defense. You talked about it in our Slack. They have nobody playing well in the secondary. Byron Murphy, their high draft pick, has been one of the worst rated corners in PFF, as has Patrick Peterson, who's supposed to be one of their best corners in the league. They haven't been able to cover tight ends most weeks. So the middle of the defense is kind of open against them. This is not like Cleveland's better than Pittsburgh. I think you bet on Cleveland against Pittsburgh the first time. I think then you bet the other way. But either way, like this is not Pittsburgh. This is a better team than that, in my opinion, that Arizona's facing. And Arizona couldn't even pull it out in a game that, you would think they had a chance at winning last week. I'm betting against them. Also, who knows what's going on? This is their third straight home game, but hasn't really been a home field advantage for them. We saw all the terrible towels out in Arizona last week.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, you're basically, you said that it's me versus Jason Garrett.
Yeah.
Well, it's you versus Freddie Kitchens here.
Ugh.
And the Browns pull a Browns and, just have an undisciplined, turnover-filled, red zone failed, type game. And that's really what you're betting against. right?
You know who that sounds like, though? You know what red zone failures and just mistake-filled game sounds like? The Arizona
Cowboys.
Cardinal offense. No, it
Oh,
sounds like the
the
Cardinal
Cardinals.
offense
Cardinals
for like 3.5 quarters of the game, of every game. Like, there are times, and like Kyler Murray overall, the numbers have been good, and I think he's shown his flashes, and he's been playing well for the most
Yeah, he's going to be fine. Yeah, I think he's going to be
He'll
fine.
be fine, yeah. But I will say this. There are just times, and it's funny because we actually did see this with Russell Wilson early in his career at times, but there are just times when they're just inexplicable just gaffes by the Cardinal offense. And at times it looks like they're trying to pick up first downs by going sideways rather than straight ahead. And no one on the offense is really explosive at all. Like David Johnson always looks like the slowest player on the field. They're playing like Damiere Byrd just to get speed. He should be a replacement level return man. He shouldn't be a receiver. Pharaoh Cooper is their number 3, like their legitimate number 3 receiver. So against a team with more talent, just a short favorite, not even a 3. Give me the Browns there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the Cardinals secondary is a mess. Their offensive line has been a mess. There's a lot of things not to like about this Cardinals team. And look, I didn't end up backing them in the classic Tomlin spot, the Tomlin fade spot. That's how little I think of Arizona. And they ended up losing that game to Duck in just the sleepiest spot for the Steelers. So I think that says a lot about where this Cardinals team is. So I don't necessarily disagree with you. I don't know if I'll be jumping in. I can tell you I won't be on the Cardinals, though. I've held up my word and not backed Cliff Kingsbury all year, and I'm not going to change now.
They are, like I said, they're 7-5-1 against the spread, so they've had spots. But again, they played 4 of the worst teams in the league, so that explains a lot of that situation.
Yep.